All right, so in addition to Agatha All Along, we have some other MCU news to talk about. Crazy, I know. Let's talk about the Thunderbolts trailer. So there are two sides to this coin that I wanted to discuss today within the Thunderbolts trailer. That's a tongue twister. The Thunderbolts trailer. The Thunderbolts trailer. Anyways, there are two sides to this coin that I want to discuss. Number one is the optics around it. The optics and the marketing strategy around this trailer, because I have a couple thoughts about that. So we'll start out with that. But then number two, just all of that aside, my thoughts on the trailer itself. And, you know, I have a theory, or not a theory, I just have a prediction to make. And we'll get to that as the segment kind of wraps up here. But let's start out with the optics and the marketing. You'll notice, and this is what I noticed before I even clicked on the trailer, because I always look just out of curiosity. I watched the trailer, and the first thing I noticed is it's 3 minutes and 25 seconds, I believe. That is, for any length of trailer, a long trailer. I don't even mean a first trailer, because usually what studios will do is they'll release a teaser trailer. And that trailer could even be a minute long. Some teaser trailers are 50 seconds. Usually, though, if you're releasing a teaser trailer, especially for Marvel, I think they've usually done, I don't know, minute 50, maybe 2 minutes is usually their teaser trailer. For their second and third trailers, and usually they don't, these days they don't even do third trailers. Those trailers have been about 2.5, maybe 2 minutes and 40 seconds long. Not even 3 minutes. I don't remember the last time Marvel released a 3-minute trailer. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below, because I can't remember the last time Marvel released a 3-minute trailer. So that, on its own, was really interesting to me. They released a whole 3 minutes of footage for this film before it came out. And you may not think 3 minutes is a lot, but when your film is 2 hours, 120 minutes, that's 3 out of 120 minutes, right? Again, doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a chunk, you know, especially because these scenes are being stitched together out of order, so that you're getting a lot of snippets from different parts of the film. And I think that that's interesting as well. So 3.5 minutes long trailer. Number two, I know they released a trailer during D23. I know they've been showing trailers in Comic-Con and stuff like that. And I know that these trailers have pretty much leaked online. So it's not like we haven't seen or heard about this before. But let's not kid ourselves. It's late September. This film doesn't come out for 7 months, if we're being, more realistic. 7 months. This film doesn't come out until May 2025. Even for a first trailer, a teaser trailer, it is early. I think usually Marvel wouldn't have released a teaser trailer until maybe 6 months before, 5 months before, and it is over 7 months before this film comes out. So that, to me, is very interesting, and it worries me a little bit, because I don't know what the thinking was behind this, to be quite honest, because are you going to release 2 more trailers? Because you kind of have to, right? I mean, unless you just want all the momentum of this trailer to die, by the time it gets to Christmas, then I guess you're going to have to release another trailer by that point, right? And then what? You're going to release even more footage because you've already released 3.5 minutes of footage from the film. So I just think it's a weird strategy. I'm not sure what prompted this, what preempted this, but it's just a very odd strategy to me to release this much footage this early into the process. But, all that aside, because again, I still think, and what I worry about, honestly, is just that by the time we get to Thunderbolt, they're just going to release like 8 or 10 minutes of footage for the film, and it's just going to be way too much, like 10 unique minutes of footage. And I think that's a little bit worrying to me, because I'm usually somebody who watches only the main trailers and then that's it. But even now, I'm worried that I'm going to be having to watch 10 minutes of trailer footage. But all that aside, let's talk about the trailer itself. And I really do think this film could be the best MCU film in 2025. Not only do I think this could be the best MCU film of 2025, I think this could be one of the best MCU films released in a long time. I'm not going to say ever. I was going to say ever. I don't think ever. I think, though, what this film has going for it is something that I'll admit it is very kind of Suicide Squad-ish. Very Suicide Squad-esque of, where it fits in the DCU and the MCU, respectively. But I think that this brings to the MCU, at least, because what the MCU is able to do now, that the Suicide Squad, frankly, just wasn't able to do because of when it was released. And I'm talking about both films, honestly. Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad. The MCU has been established, and these characters have been established in previous films before. And so these are all characters that are coming back. And I think that that's important because it's not like we're introducing 10 new characters into, these films. And that's fine, by the way. I really enjoy the Suicide Squad, the second film, the James Gunn film. Really good. He introduces a ton of new characters. But I think that there is something to be said about this Thunderbolts film in the placement of the MCU, where we are going to see a destabilized Avengers world. I think that we're going to get some answers about who or where or what the Avengers could look like, and I think that's immediately going to be destabilized in Thunderbolts. And I think that that's going to be a super interesting setup as we get into Fantastic Four and the threat of Doctor Doom approaching and who the Avengers could possibly be in Avengers Doomsday. So I think that that's really good. On top of that, you have top-notch talent. All the actors, when asked about what your favorite part of this, working on this film was, if you saw the Comic-Con clips from Comic-Con 2024, they all said it was working with Florence Pugh. I think Florence Pugh is such a treasure to have in the MCU. And not saying you should just, work her to death and have her be in every single thing, but you should, take advantage of the fact that she is, working in the Marvel Cinematic Universe system, and she is awesome. I think that having her as the lead, perfect move. She is the lead. She is, I know it's an ensemble film. I get it. She's the leader. She has to be the leader. And so I think it's fantastic you have Florence Pugh. On top of that, characters like Bucky, who everyone seems to really like. I think Bucky's cool. Bucky's fine. But, I think it's a really good thing to have an established MCU presence. Bucky's been around since 2011, right? This is 2025 when the film's coming out. So that's a good thing. David Harbour looks like he's bringing the comedic chops here. I thought that the opening bit with the DoorDash was amusing, was cute. I thought that the banter between him and John Walker in the little sting at the end in the car was really cute, was fun. And so I think that he's going to bring a humor, but also he brought a lot of emotion too in Black Widow. In limited time, he was allowed to show the emotion that he could. I thought that he brought an emotion, and I think that if they're going to really draw on the fact that he and Yelena, father or daughter, adopted or not, I think that that's going to work really well as well. So I'm excited about that. Especially, again, those two characters were probably the best parts of Black Widow. I thought that they were amazing. So can't wait to see David Harbour. I think taking forgotten characters like Taskmaster and Ghost, who, I'm not going to lie, I think Ghost's costume is fine as an upgrade to her previous costume. I think Taskmaster should have just kept her original costume. I think that this new one is weird. I'm not sure what it is about it, but I think that should have just kept the original costume. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Costumes never make or break a film. I think, but taking quote-unquote forgotten characters from the MCU and putting them in this film is really cool. On top of the fact that you have Sentry, right? I don't know what's going on with him. I just love the tone of this trailer. That and the tagline of the film, which is, again, I know Suicide Squad came first or whatever, in terms of the films at least, but the tagline of this film being what Julia Louis-Dreyfus says: people think that there are good guys and bad guys, but the truth is there are only bad guys and then there are worse guys. And I think that is such an interesting thing to explore with MCU characters. I can't wait for the film. I think that this film has the potential to explore complexities in superheroing and supervillaining that haven't been allowed to be explored before, and I think that that's a really exciting thing. On top of that, the action looks really good. I am captivated as an audience member by the actors, the charisma that they're portraying on the screen, and I think the dynamic is going to be amazing. I think the story is super interesting. Black Ops kind of team in the MCU. I suspect that while I am looking forward to Captain America Brave New World quite a bit, I think it will be a very good return to the more grounded Winter Soldier-esque kind of action, even though how much of that can you really get with Captain America against Red Hulk on Tiamat, the Eternal, or the Celestial? I don't know. And I'm very much looking forward to Fantastic Four First Steps because Matt Shakman killed it with the retro kind of vibe in WandaVision, and he's going to do it again with Fantastic Four, which is really exciting. Also probably going to introduce Doctor Doom. Fantastic Four obviously being a very pivotal part of the MCU and their plan. So really excited. But Thunderbolts, I just have this feeling. I just have the feeling that by the time we end 2025, and I don't know, maybe Blade comes out in 2025 and we're all saying, oh, Blade is actually the best MCU film that came out that year. I don't know. I would love it if that were the case, by the way. It would mean that it would mean either that Blade was really good or all the other projects were really bad. So let's just hope that if that's the case, that Blade is really good. But I doubt Blade is coming out. But if I just have this feeling that we're going to come out of 2025 saying Thunderbolts was the best MCU film that came out that year. Obviously, I have nothing really to back that off of other than a gut feeling, but I thought a similar thing about Thor Ragnarok. I thought that film looked special in a very intangible kind of way. I thought WandaVision had that same vibe, and I ended up being right about those, at least for me personally, right? Because you might disagree. That's totally fine. I think that Thunderbolts has such an interesting new dynamic that it's going to bring to the MCU. I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I think she's fine. I never really liked or disliked her in her roles in the post-credit scene for Black Widow or for Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Never really cared or minded her that much. But again, I think that this film is going to touch on a lot of different things that we have been looking for a long time now in the MCU. Ever since Endgame, I think there's going to be connectivity, obviously. It's an ensemble cast, which is really exciting. And I think that there's going to be a lot of plot threads that are going to be tied up and raised here in this film. Also, Sentry. I think having a character like Sentry is going to be super interesting. The Bob character, for those of you who didn't know, he's going to be Sentry. And I won't tell you everything there is to know about Sentry here, but look it up. He's an insanely powerful character who has such an interesting and weird backstory. Like weird in a just a fascinating way. The Void, I believe it's called. Anyways, it's something worth looking up. But again, I was, all the marketing and I wouldn't have released this trailer now kind of vibes aside, because I wouldn't have. I would have released this trailer in March, or maybe not March, but like January or February with Captain America Brave New World. But I'm sure they'll release another trailer around Brave New World time. I think that this trailer looked awesome. I'm so excited for this film. I think it is probably my most anticipated MCU film next year, although Captain America Brave New World looks really good and I'm excited. I'm excited for all these films, but like I said, I think Thunderbolts has the potential to be a very special film. So let me know in the comments down below, what did you think about the first full trailer for Thunderbolts? Was it exciting? Was it disappointing? Did it get you, and just hyped up for this Thunderbolts team? Or were you more disappointed and thought this looked like a knockoff of Suicide Squad? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, that'll do it for Access Blockbusters Pod episode number 42. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Seriously, it is always a joy every single week to be able to talk about these things with you guys. I appreciate it so very much. I just love to hear the discussion and to be able to just share in the joy about these different things. I know these episodes have been a lot longer. That's why I release them in clips later on, so that if you are, there are time codes in the description, but I understand that if you don't want to, kind of sift through in an hour and a half of a video, that's totally fine. But I appreciate all you guys who are still here and listening anyway. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't subscribed to the Access Blockbusters YouTube channel, make sure to do so. Leave a comment down below with any thoughts on any of these topics. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to leave a rating. And if you want to listen on Spotify, go check it out. Link in the description down below. That'll do it for Access Blockbusters Pod episode number 42. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next one.